Everybody ready? Good. Then let's get going. Nearly forgot you guys. Hey everyone, a really warm welcome back. So you probably remember a few weeks ago back at the October half term when we were at Cirencester, we found ourselves in the most biblical of all hailstorms, and it put some holes in the awning windows, unfortunately. So today is a little video about fixing those holes, and the materials for the job at hand are a bit of clear tent repair tape, some very sharp scissors, a bowl of slightly soapy, nice warm water, cloth to give the windows a clean down, and a bit of kitchen roll to make sure everything's dry before we get started. So I've got my cutting mat here to give me a nice surface to work against so I can see what I'm doing through the clear plastic of the windows themselves, and let's get on with it. Okay, so here's the work surface. So I'm going to do one side at a time. This tape is in theory completely clear, so if I make a tidy job of it, hopefully it will all be good. There we are, we're in. Now this is only a cheap awning, so you know I could replace it, but it seems a bit of a waste for just a few holes in the screen. So I pick this tape up and hopefully that will do a good enough job, because why waste an otherwise perfectly good awning? And it's a great size, you know, it works really well for us for just a couple of night stays, especially in bad weather. Just gives us a little bit of porch cover to be able to get in and out the door easily. Not sure that's quite right. Feels like it's still packing tape. So the first job, actually getting into the tape itself. Well, I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's get this window clean and then it can be drying a bit while that's happening. Now, left the awning drying for a couple of days, so you can see we've got one hole there right at the bottom. It's just got hit by a stone and gone straight through, and there's a bigger one higher up. Let's get this thing straight out. Okay, the saving grace of this whole fiasco is that these holes are in the door, so I've been able to undo the door to save having to shift around the entire awning itself. So there's a little hole down here. Start with one of the bigger ones, which is around here somewhere. Got corners in this thing. Ah, there it is. So let's give this a little bit of clean off. So just a tiny bit of soapy water. Oh, this one's just a split, there are worse ones further down. And then a bit of kitchen roll just to take the excess off, and then I'll leave it for a few minutes to dry. Make sure it's completely clean and dry all over. Alright, and while that's going on, cut a piece of tape to the right sort of size. Now that's a horrible end, so let's cut that off so at least we've got a nice straight flat edge to start from. Okay, so that is just, yeah, I could probably just about get it over there. I need to be a bit careful though, it's how deep. So I just want at least, probably get away with about 5mm all the way around. So let's cut 2 pieces and then I can do front and back. The same hole, and then I know each hole is done. Right, so there's 2 pieces. Let's round the corners over. I'll do those individually because they're a bit sticky, so they're not lining up very well. So rounding the corners means they're less likely to come undone because there's no sharp edges to get caught in anything. So they're unlikely to get pulled off. Okay, there's one. Let's just do the other one over here. I haven't washed the reverse side of it yet, so that will be doing before this bit can be stuck on. Right, scissors away now. Okay, so we want to go over there. This stuff is really sticky, really sticky. So I want to make sure it's nice and flat before we get started. I'm actually lined up with where we want to go, making sure we've got all the edges covered. Right, so let's get that bit stuck down first. Oh yeah, that's sticking, it's pulling the window up. Right, now the same sort of way that you do Fablon or wrapping a vehicle, just gradually work backwards, making sure everything's down nice and flat, pressing it down with the back of your neck. There we go, that's got that to form nicely in there. So gently pushing it down to get it flat, and then over the top with a nail. That's it, nice. Then it gets the edges of the split to seal back against each other. You still see it's there, but it will do. Right, now because I've opened the door from the awning, I should just be able to flip it over. Really find it? Where on earth was it? Ah, there it is. That was good, I couldn't even find it for a moment. Can you see that? That's square around there, so you can still feel the cut. Let's get another piece on the back and then nothing's exposed. A little clean off. So just a bit of soapy water. Kitchen roll to dry it. And just leave it for a few minutes and then I'll put the sticker on. Check that's dry. Yep, good. Now this one, I want to try and get as close up. See, every time I put my finger on it, I'm leaving a little fingerprint, which is slightly annoying, so I need to just try and grab it with a nail if possible. I'm going to try and get this one lined up over the top of that one. So it'll be a bit more obvious where the patch is, but it will look like a tidier job. Because it will look like one patch instead of front and back there, not too bad. It's probably overkill doing front and back, but then at least none of that cut is exposed. Yeah, it's definitely much more obvious with front and back done, but it's a much stronger job. Okay, can you see that from there? Very obvious to the eye. I'm not sure it's coming out on camera. I guess I'll see when I watch it back later on. but we're back to wind and watertight at least. Okay, that's the 3 on the front door. Now the 2 on the side door. So this is the most complicated one. So starting underneath there, sticking the corner down and then just gradually moving the white back. You see all the cracks that are there? So it went that way, that way, that way, that way, and each of them has sort of jagged bits along. Good, so that's held it together. Right, let's get the cover on the front of that one. Getting a bit on, getting it flat, and just gradually moving back and smoothing. So you minimise the bubbles. Always seem to get a few air bubbles, and it is much more obvious with 2 layers on, but it's much stronger as well. Alright, there we are. Okay, well that's the awning repair all done. It's still visible, you know, you can still see where the holes were, but I guess it gives a story at least, doesn't it, of the day we were pelted with biblical hail. You know, the alternatives were taking these windows out and then re-sewing them back in. I'm sure I could have managed that with my sewing skills, but to buy this sort of fabric would have probably been 30, 40, 50 pounds anyway for the window fabric. The whole awning itself is, I think, about 200 pounds, something like that. So, you know, those were all options. If it was a £1,000 awning, then definitely would have been worth, I think, taking these windows out and then restitching them back in. But for this £200 awning, probably not. So this tape, it's very strong stuff. So if you do something like this, take your time and take it steady, because once it sticks, it really sticks. I had a problem on one of them where I got a little distracted looking at one of the boys coming up down the pathway from the garden itself, and I stuck it in the wrong place, and it looks a mess because there's lots of white bits of adhesive left behind when I put the next layer of this stuff on. So do take it slowly, do take it carefully. I think this stuff was about 12.50, 13 quid. So compared to the cost of replacing the windows or replacing the awning, I'm happy to settle for a few war wounds on the awning itself, because as I said, this is a great awning for what we want. You know, it's just a simple canopy that's lightweight, it's a small pack size, and it's really easy to put up just for a few nights stay. So I hope it was helpful seeing how I did that repair job, and links below to this sort of stuff if you need to do something similar. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. See ya.